Seats will get underway here. It's about 11 o'clock. Well, good morning and welcome. I'm Rob Bernardi, the athletics director here. Prior to getting into some introductions here, let me tell you what we're going to do this morning. I'll have some comments. I'll introduce our president, Dr. Murphy. I'll then introduce our new head football coach, and then Coach Rebo will take some questions from the floor, from the media. Following that, he'll be available for some one-on-one interviews. And those of you in the broadcast media or print who would like to interview Coach Rebo one-on-one, please visit with Jamie Bustos, our sports information director, and he'll arrange that. For those of you who haven't been on our campus recently, I want to invite you to look around. This building right here is our campus rec center, built 2 years ago, paid for by our students, and we're extremely proud of it. Also, we have some other activities happening on our campus that we're really proud of. Just north of us here is the construction of our culinary school, and that should open within the next 6 to 8 months, and we're proud about that. In addition to that, if you go through the middle of campus, we have some construction work going on with our basketball arena. We're putting in new coaches' offices, a new locker room, a new training room, and we're pleased to have that online here in mid-January. And across from that is some construction will happen at Talbot Hall. So we have a lot going on our campus. If you haven't been on it for a while, I invite you to take a little tour of it. With that, let me introduce our president, Dr. Bruce Murphy, for a few remarks. Dr. Murphy.
Well, thanks, Rob, and welcome to everybody. What a great day for Nicholls, and what a great day here on campus. I'd like to recognize a couple of people. Brendan Mathern, representing the Lafourche Parish Sheriff. Craig Weber, where are you? Where are you? Raise your hand. There he is, in the back. And Archie Chasson, I saw him earlier, representing the Lafourche Parish government. Archie, way in the back. Okay. And David Cavell. David, where are you hiding? David's back, way in the back, also representing Bill Cassidy. So, again, welcome. Well, this news conference, press conference, is designed to publicly, officially announce the worst-kept secret in the state of Louisiana. And so the suspense is building, and I can hardly stand it. Let me just say a couple of words about how we got here. And as most of you know, early in our football season, Coach Stubbs resigned for health reasons, and Rob and I did a quick huddle, and we said, what are we going to do? And so I recalled the words of General George Marshall, who said one time, I have a difficult and dangerous mission. I need a West Point football player. And I said, let's try to find a West Point football coach, and we did. We found somebody that had coached at West Point in addition to coaching at Stanford and UCLA and Washington and Idaho and Northern Arizona and many other places. Tremendous coaching resume. Somebody that we thought could come in and stay the course. Somebody that could get us through this season and work with our young men on the team and do that. And he's done that admirably. And I would like to, at this point, just call up Coach Steve Axman. Ax, would you come up here for just a second? And, Coach and I reminisced about our time at West Point. It was almost at the same time, very close, and we had some of the same leadership, and so we told stories about those the other night. But one of the traditions that I know he is very aware of, and some of you are and some of you may not be, is in the military we had a tradition of a commander's coin, and I've brought that in with me to Nicholls. We have the president's coin, and this is rarely given. You can't buy it in the bookstore. You can't get it on the internet. The only way to get this coin is for me to observe excellence, and it says on it, presented by the president for excellence. And so at this time, Coach, I'd like to present you for the job you've done in taking on this difficult and dangerous mission and performing highly successfully. I would like to award you my President's coin. Thank you very much. So doing that, taking the initial steps, kind of the short-term response. Rob and I were left with the long-term response, and that would be hiring a full-time head coach for the future. And I have to say that I have never felt more popular. A lot of people came up to me. I got a lot of phone calls. I got a lot of emails, tons of interest in that. And so what we decided to do was to hold a little meeting. I called it a huddle, but we invited some people from the community. I know some of you, if you were at that huddle that we had, raise your hand. Okay, so a good number of you made it back today. I basically said that I had a decision to make, and I would be relying on Rob's recommendation. And before I did that, I wanted to know what kind of characteristics. One ground rule I had was no names. I don't want to hear any names. All I want to hear is what qualities do we want to have in a head coach. And so I was delighted. We had about 50 people that showed up that night. It was a Monday night, work night, and about 50 folks showed up. And we asked that question: what qualities do we want to have in a head coach? And I took a picture. We did it on butcher paper, and my old days came back as a teacher, and I wrote it down, and then I took a picture of it like you can do now. And so I was looking at those just this morning, and I think when we make this announcement, you'll understand why we made that choice. Number one, local ties, both coaching and playing. Number two, integrity. Number three, excellent recruiter. Number four, communicator. Number five, fundraiser. Number six, enthusiastic. Number seven, good assistant coaches, the ability to attract good assistant coaches. And the last one, fit. Somebody that understood this area, understood this institution, understands our strengths as well as our weaknesses, and could work with that. Well, those were the characteristics, and they matched pretty much what Rob and I had talked about earlier, and so we were delighted that the community was supporting us in that, and that the community was behind it. And so as we started looking at the candidates, the people that had applied, one by one they sort of started falling out, but one kept on coming back, and one kept on being that person that met all of those qualifications, all of those characteristics. And we're here today to introduce him now. And so, Rob, without further ado, I'll invite you back up.
Thanks, Dr. Murphy. From Destrehan High School to Nicholls State University to the University of Louisiana Monroe, and then to Lafayette for 10 years, Tim Rebo has spent his entire career right here in our state. Not only that, but he's known for his recruiting, for his commitment to the student-athlete welfare, and more importantly, to the success of our student-athletes both on and off the field. He's also known for his involvement in our community, and both Dr. Murphy and I have heard over the past week past month from a lot of people in that community. But most important, he is involved in turning around football programs. He did it with us in the late 90s, and he's done it with our neighbors to the east at the University of Lafayette. And those are the reasons that we made the selection of Tim Rebo. And it's my privilege to introduce the 10th head coach at Nicholls State University, Mr. Tim Rebo.
Doc, you stole a little bit of my thunder, and I find it hard to believe in Thibodaux, Louisiana, there are many secrets out there. You know that. That was pretty tough. And I will find out, as I look at my family, who leaked it to the media. I'll find you. I want to thank everyone for being here. I see a lot of familiar faces, friends. And before I get started, I do want to say a big thank you to Coach Axman. And he has been good to me over the last couple of weeks. You know, we've had some conversations. He's given me a lot of insight into the program. And Coach, you did a tremendous job walking into a tough situation, so I just want to say thank you. Now with that, you know, I can finally say it out loud. I am the next head football coach of Nicholls State University. And I can't tell you how excited I am to stand up here and say that, and all my family and friends are excited for me. I want to first thank Dr. Murphy for spending some time with me and offering me this position, and Rob Bernardi for giving me this opportunity. And I know and I assure you of this, I don't take it lightly. I mean, these jobs are hard to come by. They don't just give them away, and I appreciate this opportunity, and I'm going to make you proud to be your next head football coach. Also, I've been asked on several occasions, and by many people, is like why I wanted this job on several times. And we talked about a fit. When I was here before, I thought it was a guy who had to be local, who could go down the bayou, can eat some crawfish, and then go drink some Diet Cokes. I thought it had to be a guy who had some special relationships with the high school coaches. I mean, because that's what it's about. And, you know, where I got my start, people don't know, I was at Harry Hurst Middle School to Destrehan for 8 years. And then I stayed active in the association, so I know all the high school coaches. We have great relationships, and I think that's going to take us a long way. I also think that, you know, talk about energetic and passion and young, and I know when they had the search committee going, there was a comment made about they wanted a young, you know, head coach, or this guy was too old or that, and then there's my brother going, well, wait, Timmy's not that young anymore. Hey, whose side are you on here? So you got to be careful with that. So also, we will be active in the community, a guy who can get out and who will represent this university and who understands Nicholls football and in the true spirit and is going to get out there and be active there, and we plan to do that. So after several conversations with Rob and Dr. Murphy, and I knew that there was a commitment, and I knew there was going to be a strong commitment to from the administration, from the athletic department, and that together, and we got to do this together, that we can build something successful, that we can build this program. And I know where it's been. We can take it to another level. We got to earn the respect, not only of the people in this area, but we got to earn the respect of the people in Louisiana and across football and in the Southland Conference. And I know, and I say this today, that the Colonels will be a force in the future. And I want to be a part of that, and I know we're going to do things the right way, and that's where we're going to get to. The next thing is, nobody gets to this position of where we are without a lot of help along the way, and many special people. And first thing, and I get a little emotional when I talk about that, is my family. And I have plenty family members here. And the first one will be my wife Kim, and my daughter Samantha, and my son Tyler. And I appreciate all the sacrifices and all the things that they've done over the years. And all my family members are here. I just want to say big thank you. And also, as I look around for the baseball coaches, are there any consequences for your athletes missing class? So maybe we can take care of Tyler when he misses. There's a lot of coaches who've helped me along the way into getting where I am today. Not only some of the coaches I've worked with, but a lot of coaches who have mentored me. And I see some basketball coaches here, baseball coaches, just people we've talked to over the years. I'd like to say thanks to all of them. And you know, if you try to name someone, you're going to leave some people out. So I just want to have a big thank you to them. Also, there's a lot of former players. And you know, we don't get in this position. We do it to help young men and help players out. And I had a privilege to coaching a lot of good players along the way. I want to say thank you to them because they taught me a lot on how to be a coach and get me the person that I am today. And then finally, I do have to have a big shout out and say thank you to the Raging Cajun coaches, players, and staff, because they back home right now. They allowed me to come here today, and we're preparing to win the conference championship and go to the 4th straight bowl game. And I want to say thank you to them for allowing me to do that, Coach Hudspeth. And I am determined, and just to there's going to be some questions about that, but I'm determined and I'm committed to finish out the season with them, what we started, and then I want to come back and I'm going to take some of that success we have and bring it back to the Bayou. You know, a lot's been said, has been made. There's, you know, I know a little bit about Nicholls and the tradition in Thibodaux and about Nicholls football. You know, it was back in the 70s, and if anybody remember, we used to come to the games here and watch Rusty play, and my dad used to take me to the games. And if anybody knows my dad, I was embarrassed to be around. I'm telling you. He would stand up in the middle of the stands and be yelling about the knucklehead referees, and I would hide from him. I didn't want to be there. But we made it every Saturday. We were in John L. Guidry Stadium watching the Colonels play. Then I'd come back later on. I took a few classes, working on some certifications, so I knew the area a little bit. Came back in the 90s, coached for 6 years. Darren Barbier brought me here, and we had some success. And you know, we were part of one of the greatest turnarounds in the history of NCAA football at the time, so I know that it can be done. And then coming back the past few years is watching Tyler as a member of the Colonel baseball team, so we got to know, and so we know the area, and we know what we're getting into. And I know there's so many great players that have come through Thibodaux, so many players that have come through and left their mark on this program, and now it's time to get them back and get them involved, and I want all those guys back to come back to be Colonels. And so now it's time for me to make my mark, okay? As the head coach and leading this program, I want to renew Nicholls football, and I want to lead this team with some pride, with integrity, and I know we'll be successful, and I'm not talking about 5 years from now. We'll be successful starting today. I'll be a few more minutes. The second most questions that I get asked, and it's probably from my nephew and a bunch of people, they say, how? How do you plan on turning the program around? How do you plan on getting back to respectability? Well, everybody has mission statements. Everybody has program goals. Everybody has offensive goals, defensive goals, special teams goals. Everybody has those. You all have something that you believe in, and we will too. There's a proven formula for success, all right, and it's not very difficult. You work hard, you compete every day, you do the little things right on and off the field, and you got to have a positive attitude. If we stick to those simple beliefs and we stick to that process, and the results, I guarantee you, will follow. Part of the process now is you got to have the people involved, and that's what we plan to do. And I met with the team earlier. Coach and them were very, very gracious to let me meet with the team, and I told them, okay, and it's going to start with them. It's going to start with the players. We have to build a foundation. We have to commit to each other. We have to commit to the program, and what we have to do is we have to change the expectations, and we will. We create a culture of winning and excellence, and we will demand that on and off the field. There will be no magic formula. You know, there's no little dust you can sprinkle on everybody to be successful. But I guarantee you, if you commit, and I'm talking to the players, and you compete, and you will win every day, okay? And we'll talk about it. We will not be afraid to talk about winning, because you have to get it out there, and then we'll be successful, I'm telling you, starting this program today. You know, the next thing is you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And Dr. Murphy knows that. You got to have good people under you, okay? So we have to get this program. We got to hire a staff. We will get this process going immediately. And I want to put together a core group of coaches that I know that's going to work together. They're outstanding with football knowledge. And I do know this. They got to be great recruiters. And the coaches who will be able to go out and identify the local talent and we will develop that talent. And we have guys who's going to take a special interest in the players that they'll be coaching. Another one of the most successful parts of this process is recruiting. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier. You talked about that. Recruit, recruit, recruit. You got to have players. There's no doubt and there's no secret to it. And you know we talk about it all the time. It's the lifeblood of any program, and that's what we do. And my number one priority is to recruit local players. I'm going to go from Houma, and I'm going on the Bayou, I'm going on the river, I'm going to Baton Rouge, I'm going to New Orleans, and every little town in between. And you know, there's a reason, guys, that every coach in the country comes to South Louisiana to recruit. We got players. We got players here. And we have them here. We have them in our own backyard. And now it's time to make them be Colonels. Sam, how I'm doing on time? Good? She's doing good. Hey, the next area that's going to be greatly influence our success is twofold. And that'll be fundraising and changing the culture, okay? Anybody knows that it takes money to run a program. Everybody understands that. For too long, and you have heard it and I've heard it, that Nicholls State supporters have been waiting for something to contribute to the program, a program that they believe in. I know these people. I've spoken to these people. I'll continue to go out in the community, and we'll get them to get back what we need and now's the time to reinvest in the success of Nicholls State football. We have to change the culture. We all know that this program is not where it should be. And we're not going to put, the good Lord didn't put eyes in the back of our head, okay? We're going to look forward. I'm excited to reinvigorate the community. I want to change the attitude of the whole program. But we can't sit back and wait. And we can't just say, hey, I want to see what happens. I want to wait to see if I'm going to do it. We all need to be a part of it. We all need a part today. The Colonel Nation, we need to come together. The staff, administration, supporters, we need all to be in. And we're going to unite as one, and I'm confident that we can get it done. We can get it done. And I say that, so in saying that before we leave, do we have the season ticket packets out right here before we leave that I want everybody to pick up on the way out? We have to get everybody back involved. We got to get you to every home game. We got to get to the practices. We got to get to the functions, because we got to understand that this is our team. It's our team, and this is our family, and we all got to be a part of it. We bring back the program the right way, and I guarantee you we will be successful. And I just want to thank everybody for coming today and for the opportunity that I'm going to have. And I know, again, I'm going to reiterate, to be the head football coach is something special. And I just want to thank everyone, and thank you for being here.
Coach will take questions from the media, and after that...
Only the easy ones. Only the easy questions.
Well, you alluded to it, Coach. You were here when it was 4-11, 8-3, a turnaround from 95-96. What's the message you get from that experience you want to relate to the returning players, the fan base, and you know, that, like you said earlier, it can...
And that's exactly what I told them this morning. I said it can be done, and it will be done, but you have to commit to it. And it's not going to be easy. You know, we're going to work hard as we've ever worked before, but, you know, the formula, it has worked. It worked when we were here before. You know, you don't like to talk about it, but we were 0-11 and came back 8-3 and went to the playoffs with local players and changing the attitude and changing the mindset, and that's what we're going to do. Rennie, you got one? No?
You were a finalist 5 years ago, and you didn't get the job. What's you feel was the difference this time around, and what makes you a better coach 5 years, forward?
You know, we talked about that a lot. That there's reasons that happen that we all can't explain, and for whatever reason, maybe I was not ready back then. Maybe it just wasn't, the time wasn't right. I know my time now, I got to be a part of 4 straight bowl games because of that. I think I've grown a little bit of a coach. I've learned how to do certain things. So I think that now is the time that I'm just in a better position. And I want you to say now, you know, right now, this place is not a journey or a stop along the way. So now this is a destination for me. And I think that's going to help me going forward from here. Full circle. And I you know, you're not bitter, things that happen for a way. I never did question any of that. Hey, time wasn't right, wasn't ready, and now I feel like I'm ready to do that.
You know, head coach at Destrehan, you were an interim head coach at Rebo. Drawing from those experiences, obviously, you went to head coaching, but how does that help you now?
Yeah, it helps. It helps with putting together a staff and how to lead and how to talk to young men every day, how to get the guys to all be on the same page. It's something that we have to do here. So that was some tough times at Monroe, you know, and actually I was named interim here for a brief stint too. So, but you know, that interim, I was, maybe an interim for 2 weeks. It wasn't like going through the season. So, you know, it was a little different than what Coach Axe had gone through. So it was all happened in the off season.
Coach, schematically, what should we expect to see? You know, are you a spread guy, or just talk about some of the formations that you're going to like to be?
You know, we're in a process right now of hiring coordinators. You know, I'm going to get some good people underneath me. I know this. We're going to have to run the ball. You're not going to get tied in and say we're just going to throw the ball. We're just going to pass the ball. So we'll be very multiple on offense. Defensively, probably the same thing with today's age. You can't say I'm a 4-3 team, I'm a 3-4 team, or what I am. You got to be very multiple and be able to adapt. That's it. Guys, thank you. Special day in history. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The media folks will do one-on-ones, and you'll work through Jamie right there. Also, I did want to thank the folks here from the Rec Center. We've invaded your territory here, and I appreciate that greatly. With that, then, I appreciate you all coming. Thank you very much.